where should the Green Party go from here? Amita Kuttner is a former Green leadership candidate. Amita Kuttner is in Vancouver. So, Amita, you watched the press conference today. You watched all of this. What is the state of the Green Party and Ms. Paul's leadership right now? Because I'm not sure it's very clear to the people outside of the party.
You know, David, to be honest, it's not clear to me in the party either. I think I came out of watching that press conference more confused than when I went in. Okay,
so is this over then? Because what I can't tell, Amita, is whether Annamie Paul has won this fight with the people trying to take her out or simply hit the snooze button to get to the election. This is what I'm trying to reconcile. So where do you think it stands right now?
My guess is it's the snooze button, simply because I don't think it goes away this easily. There are a lot of people out there still not happy, and it didn't answer questions, and I think that's actually where it lands for me. This only goes away when the majority of the people who are members who really want to know what's going on actually get to know what's going on. So I think without transparency, we don't get to fully move forward. That being said, I'd like it to be done so that, as Annamie said today, local candidates can get to campaigning.
Right, but I guess this is part of the transparency thing that you raised. So Annamie Paul didn't answer a lot of questions there today. Thank you for coming on. You're one of the few members of the Green Party who has accepted our invitation to speak on the record about what is happening in the party. I mean, does the other side, the people who are trying to push Ms. Paul out, do they not owe a public accounting of where things stand from their perspective right now?
I think it would be great to be able to hear it. And one of the questions that I have is, why haven't we heard that? And why is the only information that we get out of, let's say, that camp through leaks? Mm-hmm. And it's honestly very worrisome. I would like any sort of clear information from anybody that's actually on the record. And this goes back to when the whole thing with Jenica was happening, which seems to be the core of the beginning of this current drama, at least. We heard multiple accounts, but we didn't hear any sort of actual, true, complete facts as far as we could tell.
Right, and Jenica Atwin, of course, is a former MP for Fredericton, who was elected, or the MP for Fredericton, who was elected as a Green and defected to the Liberals. So Ms. Paul said today this is one of the most difficult things that she has been through. And she was quite open about how hard she's taken this on a personal level and talked about packing it in. What was your reaction when you heard her say those things today?
Oh, I absolutely felt for her. This must have been difficult. It's a horrible position to be in. And even the racism, the misogyny is absolutely real. And having to deal with that cannot be easy. I think there is a responsibility, though, in that position when you're a leader, that you have to take responsibility as well. And I would imagine that puts you in a very difficult position.
Do you support Ms. Paul's leadership? I know you competed for the job, but sometimes leadership candidates can put that aside and get behind someone. Do you support her staying on as leader and leading the party into the election?
I want the party to go into the election strong, which means having this whole thing not be the dominant narrative. I don't think it should be about my opinion. Of course, I disagree with her on certain things. Of course, I think that the leader should be able to lead. But what I think actually needs to still happen is the membership needs to be able to have a say. And because in our party structure, the leader is a voice, is the spokesperson for the membership, we need to know where all the members stand, not just an individual like myself. And for them to be able to have an informed position, they need all the information, and that requires transparency.
But is that a say you want the membership to have prior to the election or after the election as part of the automatic review of any leader who goes through an election?
I'm not sure anymore. I want what's best for candidates on the ground, and I think actually that would be the best at this point, is what do candidates who are trying to campaign right now, what do they want? What do they need to do their job as best as possible?
Here's something I'd like to get your impression on. I mean, Ms. Paul has said throughout this that a lot of the discontent is coming from members of the National Council who are on their way out. And she says it's a small faction within the party that does not speak for the majority of members. What is your sense of how widespread the discontent is with Annamie Paul's leadership in the Green Party right now?
It's really hard to determine because even though I'm a member, I'm not connected to everything. So I also just kind of see the arguing out in the public domain on social media. I would say, though, that the federal councillors, yes, they're individuals. And yes, some of them have done some problematic things. But also they are elected representatives of the membership. So whatever they think, they also have a responsibility to respond to all the communication they get from members. And I would hope that they're doing that job diligently regardless. And yeah, they might actually have a better sense if you were to ask them what are they getting from the membership, but they're not saying anything.
No, it has been a very frustrating story to cover. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sure it's tough for you being in the middle of it, as a party supporter and a member. But like, here we are. And so Ms. Paul spoke today. She would not explain what led to this resolution, though David Thurton, his reporting and information suggests that there was some sort of legal action going back and forth that may have brokered a compromise here. She wouldn't really say whether the threat to her leadership is over. She still doesn't have her staff. She didn't get those back. And she so far hasn't received any money from the party to run in Toronto Centre. This does not strike me as a good menu of ingredients for a leader who could be 2 to 3 weeks away from the start of their first national campaign. I mean, where is your party right now? Because we're likely having an election in August or September.
Yeah, I am not, honestly, again, I'm really not sure. It does seem the party's in a really difficult financial position, and that would be the kind of the most sensible explanation for why there aren't resources. At the same time, the Greens are used to being, underfunded. So I think that you're scrappy. You can run a grassroots campaign.
But underfunding your leader,
make a big show of it.
Underfunding your leader. I mean, Elizabeth May was always able to get a bit of money. You know what I mean? So like it feels like a different thing this time, does it not?
It does feel a bit different, and I think she should be getting some support. And I don't know that Elizabeth actually always got a lot of support. I think that a lot of that came from her riding and not always from the party. But I think that depends on the financial situation of the party itself. If they have the ability to do it, she should be supported. If they don't have the financial ability, then they simply can't.
All right, well, Amita Kuttner, I'd like to thank you for coming on, and I appreciate it. We've been trying to get Green voices on this, and other than Ms. Paul, it's been tough to get anybody. So thank you for doing that. That's Amita Kuttner. They're in Vancouver tonight. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.